I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and the federal government is finding itself in a bit of trouble because they can't get much action on their legislative agenda. They have bills that need to be passed as soon as possible, such as the assisted dying bill, which has a court deadline, the budget related measures from their fiscal update, which have a lot of pandemic-related supports for businesses and individuals, as well as their bill on ensuring that Elections Canada could run an election safely in the pandemic, which is always a consideration when we are in a minority parliament like we are now. The problem is that they can't seem to get much traction on these bills because the opposition has been putting up roadblocks at every step. These are usually things like concurrence motions on committee reports, which means that instead of discussing the bill, they will discuss these committee reports instead. And some of these reports are as little as 3 lines. And nevertheless, the opposition has been ensuring that we have these debates instead. There are other bills that are also priorities, such as getting the conversion therapy bill completed, as well as the bill on the Indigenous United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. These are all things that the government wants to move ahead with as soon as possible, but they're getting very little ability to do so. And curiously, the NDP is also complaining that these bills are not moving, even though they are participating in the same kinds of delay tactics, either putting up speakers for these concurrence motions or not offering to join the government on a time allocation motion. And this is the thing. The government, if they had a majority parliament, could invoke time allocation and move things more swiftly, but in a minority house, that's less possible. Not unless they have the agreement of at least one of the opposition parties, and it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. This is, of course, making a difficult situation and leading to election speculation, with people thinking that the government could try and call an election saying that in the current configuration they can't get anything done, which is a risky move on the opposition's part as well, because the government is still polling a lot higher. It is one of those things where I don't think the government is actually looking to go to an election, given everything we've seen, most particularly in places like Newfoundland, with their own election problems, and with the country teetering on the brink of a third wave thanks to the different variants of the COVID virus. I don't see an election in the cards anytime soon. That's going to put the government in a very difficult position in terms of getting these bills passed. There is still a budget that is to come, and they haven't even passed the measures from the fiscal update before then. So we will see what kinds of tactics the government needs to move in order to get these bills passed. They could strike some kind of a deal with one of the opposition parties in order to ensure that time allocation can happen, but we'll see what the mood is for any of those kinds of arrangements. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.